Welcome to an episode of Kari in the Kitchen. I'm Kari Auringer. I'm the winemaker for Cornerstone Cellars here in Napa, and I'm in the kitchen with my husband Jeff.
Here I am.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Very good. Very good to see you.
I poured you a little bit of wine.
Oh, I love that.
So, the holidays are here.
Bing.
Bing.
Yeah, once you get through Halloween and Thanksgiving, you're like full-blown holiday.
They're here.
Yeah.
They're here. So, and we're a little more social now than we have been in the last couple of years or so, and we have people that have popped in.
Yeah.
Like they're going to stop by, they want to bring a gift, they're going to just say hello, they were in the neighborhood.
Or sometimes you even plan ahead. Hey, come over next Tuesday, and you're like, okay, well, what are we going to serve them? So it's the season of appetizers. So we decided just to go over a few basics of some appetizers, including an emergency appetizer.
Emergency appetizer. Oh my goodness.
Just break glass. There's an appetizer right in there.
Don't break glass.
No, don't do that.
Don't break glass. So we've got three different options that we're going to talk about, and they're really simple nibbles for holiday company.
Yeah.
So they are very simple. They're easy to get. You don't need a gourmet grocery store or anything like that. So I've got three wines that I thought might pair with the recipes that we've been working on. One of these, the first one is actually a classic, a staple of yours, that you were doing this when you and I first met.
You mean the appetizer?
The
Okay,
appetizer.
I thought you were talking about the wine.
No, the appetizer.
No, the appetizer is one of the things that became a holiday tradition with my friends, with my family, and also when I met Kari, it became a tradition with us. It's just something I love to make around the holidays, and it usually starts around Thanksgiving, but I'll make them any time of year, but they always have to be out in December. So it's just a really delicious potato chip, smoked salmon, and a creme fresh sauce. And if you're feeling really fancy and have a little extra cash, you can even put a little caviar on top. So it's one of those things that my friends have just basically adopted, and they're making it for themselves at home and introducing it to their friends as well. So it's becoming a viral appetizer, if you will.
So we thought we would share that today.
Absolutely, we're going to have that.
And it made me think of it because with the three wines that we're going to taste today, the first one is the Farina Vineyard Sauvignon Blanc. And that's from the Sonoma Mountain area. So this is our 2019.
Yeah.
So cheers to you.
It's a delicious starter wine, and there's nothing better for starters than appetizers.
And I think that might go really well with that dish. The second wine that we have is a wine that I think you can put on almost any table.
And it's so versatile.
Yeah, this is a Pinot Noir. Cornerstone Cellars, Pinot Noir 2018 vintage from Santa Rita Hills down in Santa Barbara, the Fiddlesticks Vineyard.
Anytime you see one of us coming over to your place, open a bottle of Pinot, we'll be happy.
We're good.
Yeah.
That will definitely work. And then the third wine we're going to taste is a 2018, this is Cabernet Sauvignon. This is from our Benchelin's Cabernet, and it is really the best of the valley floor.
And it's probably the friendliest Cabernet you'll ever meet. I mean, it just is similar to Pinot Noir in the sense that it's very versatile, but it's just a Cabernet that doesn't require a big hunk of meat. It's delicious on its own. It's great with appetizers. It's terrific with the main course, but it's super friendly and gentle.
I absolutely agree. So let's try this first dish because it seems to me this might work really well with the Sauvignon Blanc.
Absolutely. This is a Sauvignon Blanc dish. I mean, you have smoked salmon in there, you have potato chips, and the potato chips is a bit of a funny story. When I first read about this recipe, this person was going on, and it took a half a day to make the potato gaufret. And you had to do it on the mandolin, and you cut it waffle style in the little holes and all that, and then you deep fry it, and then you drain it, and then you salt it. My gosh, that's hours and hours just to make a little, basically, cracker to put your appetizer on. And I read it a couple of times and said, that sounds like a potato chip. So I bought a bag of potato chips and saved myself about 3 hours. And when you put it out, people go, wow, is that potato chips? Because there's very few people in the world that don't like potato chips. And the scary part of them, they're addictive.
They are.
I mean, I think they make them with meth. Because you just start eating them and you're like, I can't stop. Oh my gosh. People will devour an entire platter of these things just really quickly.
You have to not make too many because people will eat them all, and then you're.
Or if you serve two appetizers, the next one like they nibble on, and then for dinner they're like, I'm not hungry.
I'm not that hungry.
No.
So tell us how you make this.
Well, it's pretty simple. You take potato chips out of the bag.
I'm going to hold it up so we can see.
Please do so. You basically open the bag of potato chips and you spread them around on the plate. And you want to be selective. You don't want to do the crumbles and the broken ones. You get the biggest ones you can. And I often like to use the crinkle cuts, but today I just use the regular flat ones. And I just pick some nice ones. And it's so simple. And you take a package of smoked salmon, and I have some smoked salmon here. You cut it into small pieces that will fit onto the potato chip. You lay it on the potato chip. It's incredibly technical. You can use tweezers, you could use magnifying glasses, but really all you have to do is lay it on the tater chip. Then you have a tater chip and fish thing going on. So you have a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, and then you have some more oil and some more salt and a little smokiness from the salmon. And then you put on the creme fraiche sauce, which is pretty simple. It's just you buy some creme fraiche, you squeeze a little bit of lime juice in it, about a half a lime, and I made enough here for about 100 platters.
Sure did.
But you put a little bit of garlic powder in there, and I like to put some fresh herbs. You don't have to. I put some fresh tarragon in this one. You could put some chili powder in there. You can go crazy and put curry or whatever you want to in there, but literally just a little bit of fresh herbs makes this a real fresh, limey, citrusy, creamy
and you just do a little
appetizer.
dollop.
And it's literally
A little dollop.
the tip of a little teaspoon. You put it on there, and you're done. I mean, it's that simple. You can make this in 10 minutes. Maybe 15 if you have to cut the salmon a lot. And then if you're feeling rather flush, you get a little, little caviar and put it on top of the creme fraiche. And
they smell delicious.
Those
will be gone in no time.
That's about the size of it right there.
Yep.
So you have these, let me just show you one. You have these beautiful little potato chips with a creme fraiche on top of your salmon. So you have the sort of golden brown of the potato chip. You got the pink of the salmon. You got the white of the creme fraiche, and then the black of the caviar. It's a really colorful and beautiful dessert. And what I like to do is eat them.
Yes, that's a good thing to do. And then if you don't eat, if you have some of the crumbles of the potato chips left over, you get to eat those too.
Oh yeah.
So
And
it's
like
kind of
this,
a bonus all the way around.
I made like 3 times too much, maybe 4 times too much sauce. What you can do is use this as a dipping sauce. You can use this on sauces on other dishes,
put it on
but
vegetables.
it's great. It's great with vegetables as crudité, but it's also good with potato chips.
Yeah.
You just eat them.
Or a
They're
baked
really good.
potato.
Or a baked potato.
Potato
Yeah.
would be lovely.
You
All
can
right.
put it on mashed potato.
So
if
you want
wanna
to
get
try
crazy.
this? You want to try this with the Sauvignon Blanc?
Let's do so.
All right.
I have some in my mouth, but gosh, I might have to put some more in. There's caviar.
This could also be garnished with chopped chives or something else if you didn't want to go the caviar route.
Absolutely. If you're a little tight on cash or whatever,
And
if you don't like
hard,
caviar.
and it might be hard, to find this in some places, but it's always nice to add that on. There's a saltiness.
That's perfect. The high acid, citrusy character. It doesn't quite taste as melony and round and rich as it really is, because when you put that salt and that fish on there, it just brings out all the lemon and all the citrus in that Sauvignon Blanc. It's absolutely delicious with it. It's a crisp, clean flavor, followed by a crisp, clean flavor. And to me, there's no better way to start a meal than 2 nice, crisp things.
Nice.
All right.
Good.
So much for the quick and clean appetizer.
Clean.
I'm going to put that away.
Well, all of these are simple. So the next one is a little more complicated, but really still very simple.
Incredibly simple.
Yeah. And you need this.
Nope. And we're going to now just demonstrate another one real quickly. I'll put away
our
some of the sauce.
little
I'll
pieces,
save
our
that
parts.
caviar for later. Don't let me forget that, as if I would.
Oh, I'm not going to forget that. Are you kidding me?
Then we're going to bring out our next simple nibble for appetizers for holiday guests.
And I love many things about this. A little bit of this can be done in advance before people show up.
Absolutely.
The onion and the mushroom, they could be frozen in advance.
Yes.
You could cook them and freeze them.
You can make the whole thing and finish it an hour or 2 or even 3 before your guests arrive. But
Which is great.
it's a real good, flexible hosting dish.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about, this is the Festive mushroom crostini. Now, if those of you that don't like mushrooms, you can substitute another vegetable. You can substitute sausages. You can do whatever you want to with the eggplant.
Right
oh my
now,
goodness.
but this is vegetarian.
Yeah, this is vegetarian,
Great
and this is
vegetarian
it's not vegan necessarily, but you can easily make it vegan. But this is simple. You take a nice, crisp, crunchy baguette. You slice it into good, thick slices, and you're a master at making the crostini.
I'm pretty good at that.
And you brush it with, or baste it with olive oil, and it doesn't require a lot. You put it under a broiler, and you literally have to watch it, because after 3 to 5 minutes, it'll start to brown and golden.
Yep.
And if you let it go for 30 seconds or a minute too long, you're going to get little black things instead of crostini.
Right.
So
You can also use a toaster oven
you can use a toaster oven as
as
well.
well.
So you've made the crostini, And then what you're going to be doing is you make the onion relish, and you make it all together. You can make the onion and mushrooms together if you like, but I like making it in layers. But you can do it any way you prefer. And the onion relish is simple. You're just caramelizing onions, you mince some onions, you put in a little bit of olive oil, and you cook it for about 5 to 8 minutes until it starts to brown. You take that out, let it cool.
Done.
And in the same pan, you put a little bit more olive oil and a little bit of butter, and you have a whole bunch of minced garlic and a bunch of minced mushroom, and you put that in there and cook that down. It takes about 5 minutes for the mushroom and the garlic to soften, and that's all you needed to do.
And
You're not
it's
trying to
butter.
cook it to death. You certainly don't want to brown it too badly. You don't want to burn it. And you get this nice mushroom relish, and then you start to construct your crostini. So you have your crostini, and then I smear it with a nice bit of the ricotta. And the ricotta is a nice base. It's soft, it's cool, it's fairly mild, and you don't need a lot of flavor because there's a whole bunch of other flavors going on there, but it has this nice texture, and it gives it a nice sort of base in order to put your relishes on.
Now that's a cow's milk cheese.
That is a cow's milk cheese.
Ricotta.
We're using Bellwethers. This is Jersey cow milk cheese, but
Specifically Jersey cows.
it's a very classic Italian dish, but we're using California, this Bellwether Farms, and it's so delicious. It's also, they make great creme fraiche as well. And creme fraiche is what is used for the first appetizer.
Right.
So you spread your crostini with your ricotta cheese, and that gives a base and sort of a stickiness like a clay or something that you can move your
glue.
yeah,
Glue.
yeah, exactly. And you can move your relishes onto it. You put a layer of onion relish down, and then you put a layer of the mushroom relish. And then all you do is you decide on a topping, and you can sprinkle it with Parmesan if you want. You can even put it back in the broiler and melt that if you like. But what we decided to do is we call it festive. So for the holidays, we wanted to make sure it was festive by having both green and white. And we took some pesto and put it on top for the green, and we took some marinara and put it on top for the red. So we have red and green, and we are going to intersperse them on the plates, and you have this wonderful thing. This is how
And you
easy
can
this
buy
is
those
to
in
make.
advance. You can make them.
Yeah,
There's a lot of recipes for that. Pesto is basically olive oil and pine nuts.
and
And
basil.
and some garlic and some basil. So you can make that, and then in marinara sauce or whatever tomato-based sauce you want. But we did buy these because it's simple, quick.
And this is how quick and easy it is. We just take the crostini, we put the ricotta on there, we put a little dab of the onion relish on there, tap that down a little bit. You take the mushroom relish with lots of garlic in there. There's a whole lot of garlic
We did
in
put a
there
lot of garlic in there. I can
because
smell
we
it.
love garlic.
I know we do.
You put that down there, and then you just take a little dollop of the pesto, and voila.
And they're satisfying.
You do that well. It's got bread, it's got cheese, it's got really flavorful garlicky vegetables, and it takes you what does that take? It took me about 15 seconds to make one. You do that 12 times, and you have enough for like 6 people. I mean, it's really, really
It's
good.
really simple.
So you start with your potato chip thing, then you move to your mushroom thing, and you're just going to have happy people, and they're all having glasses of wine. Hold on.
So with this dish, mushroom, the onions, the ricotta cheese, Pinot Noir. So
Mushroom and garlic. I mean, my God.
Yeah. So what we've opened is the 2018 Cornerstone Cellars Pinot Noir from Santa Rita Hills down in Santa Barbara from the Fiddlesticks Vineyard. So this came out in a wine club shipment a little while back. So
And not to get too crazy and complex, but you could also continue on with the Sauvignon Blanc. It's very versatile.
So if you people come over that are either red or white drinkers, they will work both ways.
It will work both ways. The Sauvignon Blanc is better with the fish,
Yeah.
but it's very good with the mushrooms as well. But with the mushrooms, I always recommend Pinot Noir.
Easy peasy. I love that this is vegetarian. You know, because you have people that are coming over at the holidays, and you know that people have their own dietary restrictions, and it's just a pretty versatile thing. You're going to hit. Most people are going to enjoy this.
The only thing that makes it non-vegan,
The bread.
the bread, that's true, because that has eggs in it.
It has eggs in it.
But I was thinking the cheese. But you could buy vegan bread.
They do make vegan bread
And they make vegan cheese. So if you just substitute those two things, you'll have a vegan appetizer.
Yep.
Although we try not to worry about that too much. We don't have that many friends that are vegans, and we don't invite them to eat very often.
Because there's usually meat on the table.
It's really
Because
hard.
there's usually meat on the table. That's great, and that is so super easy. And you know, maybe you go, well, that's cheating if you didn't make your own pesto. You don't need to make your own pesto. You do not need to make your own potato chips.
No, don't make your own gaufrettes.
No.
Don't make your own
Nope.
potato chips.
Nope.
Don't make your own, any of the stuff except for the garlic and mushroom relish and the onion relish. Now, there is always that time where you hear a knock on the door and you're like, who could that be?
Who could that be?
Or you
delivery. It's a delivery.
It's a delivery. No, it's FedEx. No, or you also get sometimes a phone call. Hey, we're going to come over. We're in the neighborhood. We'll be there in 20 minutes. And you're like, oh gosh, haven't seen them in 9 months. And many times people keep a little present around that's just wrapped. It's not addressed to anyone. The classic is the candle. Sometimes there's, little sachets or something that you've made or bought through Etsy or whatever it is. What we like to do is we just keep a bottle of wine around because we have hundreds of bottles of wine sitting around. And we just have gift bags and we can toss them in there. And we have a to-go gift really quickly, one of those emergency gifts. And we suggest not only having an emergency gift, the ubiquitous candle, or the bottle of wine, which is a better gift, quite frankly, and have an emergency appetizer always available. So what we do is we buy some hard salami and some nice hard cheese, like a really nice Gouda or cheddar or any kind of hearty cheese that's going to be good with red wine. So salami and cheese, it's very simple. You don't have to make a whole salumi board. You don't have to have 17 different things on there. We just put a little bit of salami and cheese on a plate. We put some almonds out if we have some, and we open a bottle of Cabernet. We have a bottle of Benchlins or something really great sitting around, and we'll open a bottle of Cabernet, and usually people go, oh boy, red wine, I like that. Or if they are only white wine drinkers, if we know that much about them, we'll open something really quickly. But we have an emergency appetizer course.
And it'll keep. It's not like either one of those are they'll right through New Year's. You can keep that in your refrigerator.
Oh yeah, you can buy that early December. It'll be good until January. No problem.
For sure, if it even lasts that long.
Exactly. And if you happen to have an emergency guest, an emergency visitor, and you're like, oh great, and they brought you over, the calendar that their son made at shop or whatever it is, and you're like, oh, we have a gift for you. Here's a bottle of wine, and would you like some appetizers?
That's right.
And it just gives you the quick out in case you're an unexpected host.
So these two items, first of all, they do last. They're fine in the refrigerator for a while.
Dried salami will last for a long time.
But they're also very Cabernet friendly.
They are.
They are.
Big hearty cheese.
If that's an aged Gouda, there's lots of them out in the marketplace. You can find them easily.
Yeah. And buy a chunk of cheddar, whatever works. But it's flavorful, it's friendly, it has a nice fat to it, and then you have this nice red wine with it.
So we've got the Cornerstone Cellars Benchlins Cabernet Sauvignon. It's about 85% Cabernet. There's a little bit of Cab Franc in there and a tiny little bit of Merlot. And it comes from the best of our vineyards right up the valley floor. So there's a little bit of Calistoga in there. There's some Rutherford in there. There's a little bit of Cabernet from the Oakville area, and then Coombsville.
And once again, a super friendly Cabernet that's big enough to go with a big cheese or a big salami. The Pinot Noir is fabulous and it's really, really versatile, but maybe it doesn't have the muscle to go along with some of the heartier foods like this. So you just have some salami, unless they're vegetarians, salami and cheese, it's going to be
you're out.
Perfectly happy. At that point, you rummage around the vegetable drawer and make a salad or something. It's crazy. But you do that, and you have an instant appetizer and a great little bottle of wine, and you're sitting around, enjoying the fire or listening to music or whatever, and you don't have to sweat and go, I'll be right back, I've got to run to the store, I forgot something, and you realize they're going to go get an appetizer.
So easy, simple nibbles for the holidays.
Simple nibbles for the holidays, that's all it's what it's about.
So thank you.
I'll drink to
I'm
that.
excited that because now, get a chance to have some of this tonight.
Exactly.
But I'm going to be starting with the potato chips with the salmon smoked.
We got heavy hors d'oeuvres and we may never get to dinner.
We may not.
Thanks for joining us once again. It's a pleasure to have you here. Have a wonderful holiday season, and now you're prepared to entertain.
Excellent. Would you?
I will.
You're going to be the production manager now.
I will. I will be the production manager.
So thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week on Facebook Live. We're going to do a couple more holiday recipes, and then we've got some stuff planned as the new year gets closer as well. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next week on Facebook Live.